नमस्कार दोस्तों, हमारे टीजीटी और पीजीटी इंग्लिश का जो एस्टेट आना है उसमें जो 60 नंबर का हमारा सब्जेक्ट मैटर आएगा उससे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन है इस वीडियो के अंदर। तो इसमें जो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, द फर्स्ट ट्रेजेडी रिटन इन इंग्लिश, जो पहली ट्रेजेडी लिखी गई थी वो थी गोरबोडक। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, गोरबोडक वाज रिटन इन 1561। Queen Elizabeth had been reigning nearly 6 years when Shakespeare was born. John Shakespeare's father, married Mary Arden in 1557. So two questions also come out or derived out from this question. Who is the father of William Shakespeare? John Shakespeare. And what is the name of his mother? Mary Arden. Next question. Edmund Burke's reflection on the French Revolution resulted in war with France. Next question है, the royalist spirit towards the Puritan was expressed in Hudibras. Which year saw the publication of Principia? 1687. When were theatres closed in England? 1642. Next question है, the year 1682 saw the publication of Otway's Venice Preserved. Next question most important है, which is the first periodical manuscript newspaper that figured in Europe? Gazette. Next question है, Marston, Chapman and Webster died in the year 1634. Shakespeare died during the reign of Elizabeth. Roger Ascham was tutor to Elizabeth. Next question है, when did the Great Fire of London take place? 1666. The Empire of Babylon was at the zenith 2500 years ago. Baccio first attempt prose adventure, the Decameron, in Italy. Next question है, Edmund Spenser. Spenser's The Shepherd's Calendar was written in 1579. Who is at once the child of the Renaissance and the Reformation? Spenser, Edmund Spenser. The Shepherd's Calendar was published in 1579. Next question है, Spenser's autobiographical poem is? Option D, Colin Clout's Come Home Again. Next question है, who has been called the poet's poet? Spenser. Next question है, the Shepherd's Calendar was inspired by Beaumont and Fletcher. The word sonnet is derived from Italian word sonetto. Thomas Sackville. The first English tragedy written by Thomas Sackville and Thomas Morton was Gorboduc. Of the 5 acts of Gorboduc, Thomas Sackville wrote the 4th and 5th. Sackville's Gorboduc treats of an episode in national history. George Chapman, who dedicated some of his plays to the Earl of Essex. Chapman, who was the scholarly translator of Iliad Odyssey, and hymns. Chapman. Chapman's comedy All Fools was written in 1599. Chapman's The Admiral of France was a French tragedy. Michael Drayton. A Parting has been written by Drayton. Drayton's literary life opened in 1591. Drayton's Shepherd's Garland is an experiment in pastoral verse. The well-known historical poem of Michael Drayton is Ballad of Agincourt. Drayton's The Owl and the Man in the Moon is an illustration of style. Miracle play. The miracles were well established by 15th century. The York collection consists of 48 plays. A good example of pathos in miracles is in the play of Abraham and Isaac, in which Abraham offers to sacrifice his son. The earliest example of miracle plays, St. Nicholas, was written in Latin. The York plays are written in Northumbrian. Morality play. The earliest morality play was The Castle of Preservance. Next, of all morality plays, the only one which was so good that it was revived on modern stage in both England and America is Everyman. Interludes. Skelton's Magnificence. The earliest scalar morality was aimed at the extravagance of Henry VIII. The most prolific writer of interludes, John Heywood, was a musician in the court of Henry VIII. The Heywoods, the four P's, a palmer, a pardoner, a apothecary, and a peddler, dispute as to which of them can tell the biggest lie. Heywood substituted the abstractions of the moralities with human characters. Heywood's The Merry Play between the pardoner and the farrier was printed in 1533. Who completed Marlowe's Hero and Leander? Chapman. Tamburlaine the Great was first produced in 1587 to 88. Tamburlaine is the story of a scathing shepherd. The resounding use of exotic plays in Paradise Lost has its origin in Tamburlaine. Tamburlaine is the perfect illustration of the view maintained in Hobbes' Leviathan. Marlowe's mighty lines first came into Elizabethan drama with Tamburlaine. The most celebrated and the most successful of Marlowe's characters' speech was by Dr. Faustus. Marlowe's The Jew of Malta is a dramatic presentation of Machiavellian man. Thomas Kyd was the founder of romantic comedy. Thomas Kyd was the son of a London notary. The most popular of Kyd's play is The Spanish Tragedy. Kyd's The Spanish Tragedy was translated into German and Dutch, and one of the Elizabethan dramatists is supposed to have collaborated with him, Who was he? Ben Jonson. Who gave the name Sporting Kids to Thomas Kidd? Ben Jonson. Thomas Kidd is popularly known for his adherence to the Scientific school. The blood and thunder element of Thomas Kidd's drama proved one of the attractive features of pre-Shakespearean drama. Thomas Nash distinguished himself as a statist. Nash, The Unfortunate Traveller, was published in 1594. Nash died at the age of 33. Thomas Nash had a rich fond of humor that resembles that of Rabelais. Who was the first great realist who graphically depicted contemporary London life and its manners? Thomas Nash. Which work of Nash is a study of the superstitions of the age, terrors of night? The first picaresque novel is The Life of Jack Wilton. Nash, The Life of Jack Wilton is tragedy and comedy, both tragedy and comedy. Nash, The Unfortunate Traveller is the first Elizabethan novel. Which Elizabethan fiction writer writes more like 18th century novel? Nash. John Lilly. John Lilly was born in 1554. John Lilly wrote his Euphues when he was in MA. John Lilly wrote some Latin verse in praise of the Queen in 1597. Lilly's The Golden Book of Marcus Aurelius was translated by Thomas North. Which Lilly's comedy stands apart from his other plays, begin in the traditions of Plautus and Terence? Mother Bumby. George Peele. George Peele was born about 1530. The arrangement of Paris, Edward I, the Battle of Alcazar, and the Old Wives' Tale are authored by George Peele. The arrangement of Paris contains an elaborate tribute to the Queen Elizabeth. David and Fair Bathsheba was written by George Peele in 1599. Robert Greene. The first work of Robert Greene was Mammalia. Robert Greene's Looking Glass for London and England was written in collaboration with Thomas Lodge. Which work of Robert Greene gave the plot to Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale? Pendosto. Robert Greene entered St. John's College, Cambridge at the age of 15. Which work of Robert Greene is best known for its early reference to Shakespeare? Groat's worth of wit bought with a million of repentance. As a writer of prose romance, Greene is remembered for Pendosto. Greene's Pendosto supplied plot to Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale. William Shakespeare. Hollin's Chronicle was used by which Elizabethan dramatist? Shakespeare. Shakespeare took hint from Spanish tragedy in his Hamlet. Shakespeare was born in 1564. Venice and Adonis and the Rape of Lucrece are love poems. Shakespeare died in 1616. Life of Shakespeare is written by Sidney Lee. Out of Shakespeare's 37 plays, 16 plays were published in quarto form. Shakespeare's first folio was published in 1623. Who spoke? The lunatic, the lover, and the poet are of imagination all compact. Theseus. Shakespeare wrote merry wives at the behest of Queen Elizabeth. Benedict and Beatrice appear in Much Ado About Nothing. The famous song Take or Take Those Lips Away occurs in Measure for Measure. Falstaff is a character in Shakespeare's Henry IV. Which Shakespeare's tragedy is a tragedy of misanthropy? Timon of Athens. Imogen is a character in Cymbeline. Last plays of Shakespeare's are tragic comedies and also known as romance. Which play by Shakespeare is considered autobiographical? The Tempest. Who said, "It is the stars above us govern our condition"? King Lear. Okay, thank you my friends.